Welcome to another edition of Church Media Design TV, tips, tricks, and how-to for you, the Church Media Designer! Yes, it's true. I'm your host. I'm a little crazy, sometimes a little tired, because it's late at night. I'm your host, Brad Zimmerman, and with me, in Technicolor, it's the three wise men in Jesus. We have Dwight Schrute, Little Whitey, Colonel Sanders, and his wonderful chicken, and of course, Jesus Christ, the Son of the Lord Most High. So on this week's episode, we're going to continue our series on green screening. I don't even know why I make those crazy noises. Like I said, it's late at night. But we're going to continue our series on green screening. We're going to show you how to key out your footage inside After Effects and how keying actually works, as well as we're going to give you some great footage and show you some inspiration and a whole lot more. So let's get into it. So last week you kind of got to see the studio setup of how we run things around here, at least, and how we set up our studio to shoot on green screen. Like right now we are actually shooting on a green wall, and like as you can see, you can take away the background, throw up different images and all of that kind of stuff. Well, what I'm going to actually show you today is how to key out that footage and how we go about keying out the footage. So we're going to step inside After Effects and use a plugin called Keylight. Now, this plugin comes standard in After Effects Professional. I don't think it's in the standard version, and you might have to buy extra from the Foundry, which makes this plugin. Now, this plugin actually is an Academy Award winner for its visual effects because of how well it does keying and because of all of the things that it does in the keying process. So it's a very, very powerful plugin, and that's why I choose to do all of my keying inside After Effects versus Premiere or Final Cut or any of the other programs that you can do keying in. And some of these principles will apply to all those other programs. So one thing we actually failed to mention last week was the camera that we use. We use an HVX 200, which is a high definition camera, so we get even more pixels and more colors to use. It's got a 3CCD chip inside of it, and so you're getting more color depth out of things, so that impacts it versus if you're using SD or if you're using some old crappier cameras, you don't have as much color depth. So that does play into how good our key turns out. Also, how much your camera zoomed in and out, and all of those things impact your key. So let's step inside After Effects and learn how to key this footage out. So as you can see here, we have footage of me from one of our latest shows when I'm being stupid with the phone and being all sorts of silly. So we'll find a nice frame here where I'm totally stopped. Like, this is a good frame right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to, with our layer selected, we'll go up to Effects and down to Keying, and we're going to select Keylight. And right here you'll see all our properties, and the first thing that we have is an eyedropper tool to actually pick the color that we want to key out. Now, the best way to choose our color is you want to choose a green color that is around the talent. So I'm just going to zoom in real quick, undo this. Zoom in and maybe move over, and we'll pick a green color right around my shoulder up here that looks pretty consistent across the footage. And as you can see, it's already keyed out my footage pretty well. But what you can see already is that the table is getting keyed out. There's some stuff in different areas that are getting keyed out that we don't want to get keyed out. So we're going to use some different options inside Keylight to fix this and mess around with it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to switch from Final Result to Screen Map. And this is going to give us a pretty interesting view here. This is a color graph from black to white of your darkest dark to your whitest white, and so white is totally opaque or you can't see through it, and black is transparent. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to kick up our screen gain to about 115, and that's actually going to take care of all of these dark areas and make sure they're fully transparent, and so we don't see anything that's going on there. And the screen gain is actually allowing more pixel variation from that original color. Now the next thing we'll do is we're going to twirl down the screen matte property, and we're going to change our clip black and white values. So we're going to take our clip white and we're going to just bring that down just a little bit, and you'll see that we're slowly getting rid of some of the stuff in the middle there of like, now my hair is fully getting rid of, and some of the stuff in my t-shirt isn't going away, and that is in part due to, if we go to final result, or if we actually go to source material, you can see that there's some actual green in my shirt. Now, we're not going to be able to get around that. We could maybe do some tracking and do a mask that's lined up with it, but it's not really worth the while. We'll just turn that green into blue and be okay with it. So now our final result, you can see, is a little bit transparent, but it looks okay. Now, one of the things in our show that we deal with is the table. The table is a huge issue, and you can see on here it's totally see-through, and we got some weird shadows going on here. And so we actually do some different things to get rid of that table look. So we'll go back into our properties of Keylight, and you'll see some different properties in here. Now we can do some screen pre-blur, which actually pre-blurs those pixels and edges of the screen. So you could do maybe like a 0.5, and it would help blur up some of the corners here. So if we kick this back to 0, you'll see how it's kind of blurring some of these pixels in here. We don't really need to do that, so I'm going to leave that at 0 because I like it without. And then the clip black and white, again, you saw what that does. And the key with the clip black and white is you want to have as much difference between those values so that you can have nice soft edges on some of this stuff, because you do want some transparency. So if your talent has a shadow on the ground, you want a transparent shadow in there so that shadow can show. So you have some realistic lighting in your scene. And again, this is more for an interview type key where we're just changing out the background. It's not like we're doing a live situation like that set apart video that we kind of showed you last week. And in that set apart video, we are actually like, you're seeing this walking shot right now, and this is Adam's legs walking, and we actually had to light that appropriately and color that footage so that his feet looked like they were realistically in that scene, because he's the only thing real in there. So you have to take some of that, some of those things into consideration. Now the other thing you can notice here is we have a replace color method, because one of the powerful things that Keylight is doing is it's actually doing edge correction. It's actually replacing colors of, because in my hair on the key, the background is actually bouncing green light back up on me. And so what the keyer is actually doing is it's taking our screen color and then it's replacing that color with another color to kind of get rid of those edge color correction. And it's doing that in a couple different ways. So we can do source color, and you can see how, if we zoom in here, you can see all that green in my hair if we would leave it at source. Soft color is what it's set to, and it looks a lot more realistic. Sometimes I like hard color because it makes the colors pop a little bit more. You can see how we have, there's just differences in it, and so you can just check and see what you like best. But now let's get to the table and how we do that. So what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to grab my pen tool, and I'm actually going to create a mask on here. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to just start drawing a mask. And so I'll just click a couple points in here. I'm going to click another point up here. And if you're not familiar with the pen tool, you need to learn how to use the pen tool because it's very powerful. And it will do you a whole lot of good. So I didn't really adjust this center point. I'm going to hit the Alt key, and that will let me alter this point and round out this edge. I'm actually going to go in here and I'm going to hit MM for my layer, and I'm going to turn this from add to none so that I can see my entire layer so that this is not actually doing anything right now. And then I'm just going to alter these points until this is lining up on my table pretty well. So I'll just bring this down and maybe adjust this so it's right along our edge of our table. And maybe we want to switch from final result to source so that we can see our full edge of our table. And you can already see on here how much of this green color is on our table because of the background screen color. So as you can see, I've finished out this footage, and you can now see I have my mask there. And I've just gone through and tweaked it so it's right along the rim of this table, and it's looking pretty nice. So one thing that you can do now is you can take this mask and it's set to off, but now we're going to set this as our inside mask. So we'll go in here and we'll select mask 1 as our inside mask. I'll go back up to the top here and change from source to final result. And you can see our inside mask here is using source to replace, but if we use soft color, you can see it's now doing the same thing to replace the color as the rest of the footage. So now our table doesn't look so bad. And now we don't actually have to worry about the table being transparent ever or any of those kind of things. So that's really nice. If you have an object in your scene that is staying pretty standard, you can do that with that. Now the last thing that we want to do is you can see we use a microphone, an overhead mic to capture our audio. So now we want to get rid of that microphone. So the easiest thing we can do in here is we can just go mask this out. Now we put our mic a little bit too close to the bobbleheads on this particular week. And so this is a pretty tight squeeze between Colonel Sanders' arm and the mic line, but and we're making a shape layer right now because I wasn't selected on my, we'll just undo that. Okay, so now with our composition selected, we'll draw a new mask here. And we'll just go up and draw a nice little mask around this and just cut this guy out, because we don't need that mic in there, and we can just kind of draw a large one around there, and we can turn this to subtract. And now that mic is gone. Now one thing that we actually do on the show is we actually apply all of these effects to an adjustment layer. Now I'll show you how this works. We're going to take this mask 1, which is the table. We're going to cut that. We're going to do new adjustment layer. We're going to paste that mask to the adjustment layer. Then we're going to go back to our key, to our footage. We're going to cut out our keying, and we're going to apply that to our adjustment layer. Now you can see it's given us kind of the same things, except our table is kind of screwed up right now. So on our adjustment layer, we'll hit MM and make sure that our mask is set to none. And then also we'll go down and we'll make sure our inside mask, we'll set that to none, and then go back to mask 1. Sometimes it gets a little funny on you, so you have to reset key light and quickly go through and redo your settings when you're copying and pasting some of this stuff. So we'll just set this to, I think we had this at 115, and then we had our screen, this was set to 71. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. So now we can go back and set our inside mask to mask 1, soft color, and now our table's being replaced correctly. Now the cool thing about using an adjustment layer like this is, now let's say I have this one piece of footage. Well, since I shot multiple footages from the same camera angle, I can now go into another clip that we haven't used yet. So we'll grab this other shot here, pull that in, and now all we need to do is apply this mask to get rid of the microphone. So we'll just do Control-C on that. We'll paste this onto this other layer, and now this footage is perfectly keyed. So I don't have to go through and individually key out every single layer. So we'll just quickly run through our key light properties. So we have our screen, our pick whip, which picks the color, and then we have our screen gain, which allows us to choose how much color from that one pixel color we want to use. And then we have our clip black and white, which these are values that change how much of our white and black when we're in our screen matte. So we can say, well, this white value we need to separate and have more whites and more blacks and that kind of stuff. And then we can shrink and grow our screen. We can change our softness. And then this is our color that we're actually using. And then we have a couple mask and other options inside there. But those are some of the major things that you'll want to use inside Keylight when you're actually using it to key out footage. So hopefully this gives you a good start inside keying, inside After Effects. If you have any questions to further your journeys inside keying, just send me an email, brad@ChurchMediaDesign.tv, and I would love to help answer some more of your questions with Keylight and keying inside After Effects. Well, this week's freebie that we have for you has to do with Keen. So me and Adam, after the show, shot some footage of me on the green screen doing some different stuff. And so we're going to give you some free footage that's either not keyed I'm going to put it up there in multiple formats. We'll probably end up just putting it in QuickTime for you. It'll be 720p. It'll be pretty big, but it'll probably be pretty short just to save on my bandwidth. But you can see the footage here of me being crazy. And doing some weird stuff for you. So check out that footage. And what I want you guys to do is to make some videos and then post them on Vimeo, Vimeo.com. Vimeo, what's his name? Stupid song. Anyway, so you can post stuff on Vimeo or YouTube or wherever you want, but just post some clips of what you've done with that footage. We'll have a little contest, and I'll think of something good to give you guys next week. And we'll have the contest running for a few weeks, but we'll have the footage up there that you can key out yourself, as well as I'll have some pre-keyed footage in a QuickTime format that you can bring inside your program and do some fun stuff with. So make sure to head over to the website and download some green screen footage of Whitey being crazy. Well, this week's inspiration is a show that I heard about a long time ago, and I chose not to submit anything to it because I just knew I wouldn't have time out of my life to actually be a part of it if they would have chosen me, which I doubt they would have. But it's called MTV Engine Room, and what it is a weekly show that just started in September, and it is a show about designers. It's about audio designers, graphic designers, motion artists, 3D graphics, interactive, all of the stuff, and they have 4 different design teams from around the world. So they have teams from Asia Pacific, Europe, Latin America, and North America. And the website is www.mtvengineroom.com, and you can check out all the cool stuff they have on there. You can watch the episodes online, as well as you can find out about stuff they actually do on the show. And I actually went there, and in their how-to section, it's really cool. They the first week's challenge was to make a HP inspired ad. So ads where they just show your upper body and have you grab photos and all that kind of stuff and say, my life is about photography and I use photos to stretch things with my hands in front of my chest. And weird stuff like that. So you can check out a really good in-depth how-to in After Effects of how to do that with all built-in plugins. So I would encourage you guys to check out mtvengineroom.com. Watch the show. I hope it's going to be really good. I unfortunately don't know any of the designers on there. I knew of a couple of designers who tried to be on it and didn't make it. I don't know why, because they're really good. Most likely they chose crappy people who are funner to watch on TV. Yeah, that's what MTV does. But at least MTV has one good show on their network right now. So check out mtvengineroom.com. We want to say thank you to our sponsor of worshiphousemedia.com, resources for the creative church. You can head over to worshiphousemedia.com and find all things church resources. They have everything from mini movies to stills to software for the PC and the Mac. And coming soon to ProPresenter is the Worship House Media Store, which is really cool. It's a built-in store inside ProPresenter. The other thing I would encourage you guys to check out is the Worship House Media podcast. Episode 56 is 5 years and Mo is back. And it's with Kent and Dale, and it's a good time, and they review a lot of the new stuff in the Just Added tab, as well as things that are going on at Worship House and in the whole, just at Worship House. So you can head over to Worship House and get a lot of products from there, and I would encourage you guys to use our promo code of CMD TV1 and get 25% off your order, because why not spend less money? So if you're going to spend some money, use our promo code and check out worshiphousemedia.com. Well, thanks for tuning in to another edition of Church Media Design TV, and I'm so glad you guys are here, and I'm so excited to still be doing the show. I mean, this is episode 33 right now, and we're getting close to a 1-year anniversary coming up in a few more episodes, so it's kind of crazy to me that it's been going on this long. And there's actually one point in the show where I was like, am I going to have enough content to keep doing this show on a weekly basis? And now it's like, I don't have enough time to cover all the content that I want to be covering. So we have so much more coming for you. If you guys have any more questions about green screening or how to set up a studio or how to be doing video shoots, please send those to me as an email or comment on the website. The great thing about leaving comments on the website is it shows how active our community is here at Church Media Design TV. Earlier in the show, we talked about that contest that we're going to start running, which we'll call the Green Screen Whitey Contest, and you can find the footage for that on the website. And I want to encourage you guys to key out and use the pre-keyed if you don't have a keyer in your program, but do some fun and crazy stuff with me and then post a video up on your favorite site like Vimeo or YouTube, and then send me the link, Brad at ChurchMediaDesign.tv, or leave a comment on the website so other people can see those videos that you've made as well. And then we'll give prizes to our top 3 finalists. So we need at least 3 of you to submit videos for this, okay? So 3 people, please submit videos for this. And I mean, they don't have to be long. We'll make them short. I mean, short and sweet. You don't even have to do audio if you don't want to. We'll provide audio with it. I'll sing and dance and play guitar or something. So anyway, so check out that video on the website, as well as you can stay in touch via Facebook, via the Creative MYK / Church Media Design TV or Church Media Design. And then you can finally stay in touch via Twitter. We've been Twittering during this episode and every episode and during the week as I find cool and new resources. So check us out, twitter.com / CMD TV, and stay in touch with us there. So as for me and our Technicolor 3 Wise Men in Jesus, we're saying, see you later. So this week we're going to continue our series on 3D text. So this is how you start. You take one copy of your logo and then you duplicate it 2 more times. And this will give you some depth to your logo. Okay? And then you animate it inside 3D space. 3D logos, CMD TV. Do it today. Woohoo! 3D.